Good evening, my beautiful ones. I decided tonight would be a good night to have a very important subject. Size. Size of your body, size of your chest, size of your junk. Let me be the first to tell you, size does not matter. Ever. What matters is that you know how to use what you have. Or you know how to appreciate what you have. For centuries, the ideal female type, according to society rules, was a size 3, 0 to 3. A woman with a tiny waist and a pale complexion was always the more attractive. And this, like I said, goes back for centuries. Centuries. Women have always been the ones to suffer society's condemnation. Either we didn't fit with their category or the size we were was not what was considered attractive. I mean, nowadays, we big girls are starting to get more attention, starting to get more love. In my entire life, I have not, well, since I was about 15, I have never been a size smaller than a 9. Yes, I was once a size 9. Believe it or not, that was in my early 20s when I was still pretty active and I was still working off the female, all the teenage weight gain and everything. Come on, people. Really? Size, it never made any sense to me. You see all these models that are so rail thin, you could count every one of their ribs. How is that even healthy? Good Lord. I have nothing against tiny girls. If you're tiny by nature, that's you. That's your design. Be proud of it. But if you become extremely tiny because you put your body through hell to fit in with society's ideas, that's when I get a little annoyed. Because you don't have to do that. There are women out there and men who starve themselves, toss up everything they eat, or just eat the least amount of food possible. Because they're so scared that they will destroy what society wants. Look at most of these models. They're fucking size 3s and 0s with barely a waistline on them. Why? Why torture your body like that? I mean, if you can get a body through a normal exercise routine and a diet, not a starvation diet or a diet where you toss up everything you eat, but an actual diet where you eat healthy food at the right time and you avoid fats, carbs, sugars, and salt, you could do just fine. You don't have to starve yourself or push yourself beyond your limits just to please others. I mean, I have several friends that are naturally skinny by birth. My own sister is a size 0 to a 3. She's always been that way from the time she was young till now. Even after having children, she has kept her size at a size 5 at most. That's her natural design. It's not because she did anything to harm herself. It's because she just is naturally skinny. Me, I'm the opposite. Like I said, the smallest I can name that I've been since I was 15 is a size 9. And sure, I looked all right. And it wasn't because I was starving myself. It wasn't because I was tossing up everything I ate. No. It was because naturally my body was metabolizing everything to fit my design. I am now a healthy size 15. And that's not really weight so much as hips. I have wide hips naturally. It's kind of an inborn thing. Just like I have a well-sized chest. That's genetic. There are girls out there who get surgeries to make their boobs like this huge thing, and half the time they don't even look right, or they look abnormal. I'm like, oh no, honey, no, 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 no. Now, I can understand if you're naturally born with breasts that are very small, mosquito bite small, to where you barely have a lumps there. I can understand why you enhance yourself with plastic surgery. I can understand that you're not happy with who you are, and that's your choice. If you want to torture your body and put scars on your body just so you can fit the ideal type, that's your choice. I'm not against it, but I'm not with it either. With my size, I've never needed to worry about surgery. I mean, when I was 12 years old, I was teased in junior high being called flat tire. Because at 12, I had no boobs. I had no hips either. Yet, lo and behold, a year later, at age 13, I grew out both. My first breast size was a 34. And it just kept on growing for years and years until I reached the age of about 25. Technically, girls are supposed to stop growing at 17, and I did for the most part. I've been 5'4" since I was 15. My breasts, on the other hand, did grow out a little bit more during my time in service. I mean, I graduated high school with a 38C. I came out of the Navy at a 38D, a full cup size bigger. And no, I'm not afraid to talk about it. Why should I be? There's nothing embarrassing about the fact that I have naturally well-designed boobs, that I am well endowed. And many people appreciate that. Many males appreciate that. But there are men out there who also like small breasts too. If it's more than a palmful, it's a waste, so they say. Which in some cases is not the truth, but many people say it anyway. But don't torture yourself to get what society deems to be the perfect body. Don't starve yourself and throw up everything you eat. Exercise right. Do right. Eat right. You can get there without having to torture yourself to do it. I'm sorry, boys. I don't know how in the world you find stick figures so attractive. There's hardly a thing to hold on there, especially since most males are born with rather large hands. I mean, how can you want to hold on to something that's barely there? Makes no sense to me. I mean, if you're naturally skinny, that's okay. My friend Bridget, my sister, both scrawny. Not their fault. Not because they tortured themselves, but because they are naturally designed like that. And skinny girls. I got something against girls who make themselves skinny by torturing themselves and hurting themselves and putting their life in danger. You have any idea how dangerous that stuff is? Bulimia, anorexia. They destroy your esophagus. They destroy your stomach. They destroy and make so much damage because you're forcing your body to do something it naturally does not do. You're just hurting yourself. Don't do that. And also, again, I go back to the breast size. Okay, so maybe you weren't born with a huge set of tits. So? Doesn't mean you put yourself under a knife to get them. Like I said, I can understand if you have really small or barely there. I get if you want to do surgery because it makes you feel better to show off the fact that you finally have something there. I get it. But if you already have a well-sized chest, even if it's only in the 30s, Don't put yourself through surgery. Don't put scars on your body. Don't put your life in danger. Because those implants they use to make your breasts bigger can burst. And they can cause illness and lots of other things. They are dangerous. I mean, that's up to you, I'm sure. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm against your choice, because that's your choice. That's not mine. But still, you know. But also on the flip side, men. Ah, yes. The long argument. Size matters. What? Okay. So there are guys who are born with small penises. And even as they get older, they don't grow much. I mean, the average male penis is 6 inches at average. And that's normal. That's natural. But you got guys out there who have 3 and 4 or 5 inches and who are small. And they hate it because they think no woman will want them because they don't have enough to please them. Darling, as the expression goes, it's not the size that counts, it's the motion in the ocean. I've had many females and males speak to me or joke about being embarrassed about their size. Just because your penis isn't up to standard doesn't mean that a girl's not going to want you. If you feel like you need to make up for the fact that you don't have a large size penis, learn other things. Women enjoy oral sex. They enjoy getting kissed all over. The breasts are particularly sensitive. If you're so embarrassed about the fact that your size doesn't meet up to standards, learn other tricks to make the woman want you. To make her not even care that your penis is not 7, 8, 9 inches long. I mean, there's too big and then there's too small, and it's going to happen. I've met guys both sides. You know, there are men who are larger and men who are smaller. And what matters is that you know what you're doing, not that your size doesn't add up to what you think it should be. And sometimes having a large penis really isn't that good either, because you can hurt women that way, because their bodies can only stretch so far and can only handle so much before it hurts too much and is too uncomfortable for them. They can't feel any pleasure from the sex. So it doesn't matter if you're big or small. What matters is you know what you're doing. And you make your woman want you no matter what size you are. I mean, and that has always been one of the biggest issues in society. Because society has always thrown in your face, size matters. This is important. A woman is unattractive if she has fat rolls. A woman is unattractive if her stomach pooches out more than a couple inches from her hips. A man, if his stomach pokes out more than normal, that's not attractive. Say, man's got a big old beer belly. Most women do not find that attractive. And honestly, I've never really had a problem with it. In society's view, a man who's considered sexy and hot is a man whose body is muscled and toned and who has a 6-pack to an 8-pack on his abdomen. I mean, muscles that ripple up to here. That is considered attractive. I'll agree. I don't disagree. Men that look like that are at the top of my list of hot. A man can have a hot body and not a pretty face. and still be sexy as all get out. I've dated men who were scrawny. I mean, so scrawny they could do the models justice for that scrawny. Because there are some men out there who are really, really skinny, but have no muscle definition and no muscle tone. Most people wouldn't consider that attractive either because it makes the man look fragile. And while looking fragile on a woman's part is attractive and beautiful to people, a man looking fragile, not so much. They want men to be strong, be society's macho men, show off their muscles, flex that body, make the girls scream. Okay, I can understand that. I mean, I've had men who are really scrawny. I've had men with muscle definition. I've had men I've met that had a bit of a pooch belly or a beer belly in some cases. That doesn't mean that all of society is going to find them attractive. One of my girls years ago, she used to find overweight men attractive. She thought they were sexy. And that was her opinion. Everybody has opinion. Everybody has a type. And while our types and opinions are different, society pretty much keeps the same opinion. Like I said, it's only been in the past decade that they've finally given us big women some love, accepting the fact that we are plus size. You got plus size models in magazines and stores. And it took them 1,000 years worth of history just to get that idea through their heads. We women with a little bigger build, a little more weight on us, are attractive. We are sexy. And while some men may not like that, others do. Like I said, the skinniest I've ever been was size 9. And yeah, I was pretty tiny for up until probably about my 25th year, when I started gaining more weight. I jumped up to, when I entered the Navy, I was 133 pounds. When I exited the Navy, I was 155. And during the first 3 years of my Navy career, I stayed at a level 148 for the most part. And it wasn't all weight. It was also muscle definition from me being in boot camp. Because I entered boot camp at 133, exited at 142. And that wasn't because I gained weight. It was because I gained muscle. Then when I got to A school, I jumped up to 157. And I stopped eating desserts and stuff and all the fattening, sugary stuff that's not good for you. And I dropped back down to 150. Then when I entered the fleet itself, I dropped all the way down to 145 pounds. And then I gained another 3 pounds and stayed at 148 all the way up until my last year, when I went all the way up to 167, which by Navy standards, a woman my size and age, 167 pounds is considered overweight. So I had to lose 11 or 12 pounds to fit back within my weight category. And also because I had made 3rd class, but they wouldn't give me my crow, that insignia they put on you that signifies that you're a 3rd class, which is what I was, until I lost all that weight. 3 months into Iraq, I dropped all the way back down to 155 pounds and I got my crow. Finally, I became AZ3. AZ, Aviation Maintenance Administration Man. That was my title. AZ was my rate. And E4 was my rank, Petty Officer 3rd Class. But thing is, throughout all these 4 years that I was in service, I had plenty of guys chasing me. Plenty of guys who found me attractive and sexy, even though I was 148 pounds. They thought I was gorgeous to them, that I had a full figure, that I was perfect size for them. They never had a problem with it. See, you don't have to be some scrawny bitch to have a man want you. For all those models out there, quit torturing yourself to fit the society's views. You're beautiful either way you go. You know, gain a little extra weight here and there. At least be able to have enough weight on you to hide your ribs. Because anytime I see a girl with her ribs poking out, or a male, first thing I say is, oh my God, they look sickly. They need to put some weight on, or they look like they're going to die. I mean, when my K-pop star, Kim Jae-jung, went on his solo, when he was in TVXQ at the beginning of his career, he had muscle definition, a six-pack, and a very nice body. But when he went out on his solo career, back in, I think it was 12 was when he started it, he became so rail thin, it scared me. He looked like he was sick. I'm like, that's not what you're supposed to look like, honey. You looked healthy in your video Mirotic. But here I see your video for, let's see, which one is it? It wasn't his video. I saw one of his concerts. He was so skinny. It was terrifying. Like I said, I have nothing against skinny men. But when you get so skinny, you look sickly, that's when you're in danger. And when you need to start putting the weight back on. And Kim Jae-jung did eventually put some muscle definition back on. Matter of fact, in the military, they nicknamed him Captain America. Because when he enlisted, he had a well-cut and well-hung body from his career as an actor and a singer. Nowadays, he's looking much healthier, although still a little too skinny for my liking. He still looks a little like he still needs some weight on him. He still needs to add some health to him. He looks very fragile. Being skinny is okay, but when you get to a point where you look sickly or fragile, that's when it's not okay. I mean, sure, I myself have lost several pounds in the past few weeks, ever since I started walking a lot more. And I'm happy with the weight I've lost. But I'm still not going to drop myself all the way down to some fragile looking thing just to fit what the society wants. Or to attract males. You don't have to be skinny to be pretty. You don't have to be skinny to be sexy. I mean, for years, let's just say, but what's really sad is this kind of thing isn't just in America, it's all over the world. Europe was where it was the worst during the early centuries. That's where they defined women by their fashion. They're wearing corsets that shrink their freaking waistline down to barely 8 inches round. I mean, women whose corset was tightened so tight that their waist literally is pulled into this tiny thing with corsets. The thing is, those corsets jumbled everything inside. They were very unhealthy because they basically reshaped the woman's natural design and reset her body into a state that wasn't natural. And wow, Europe found this attractive for centuries. And then look at Asian. And I'm not just talking one Asia country. I'm talking Japan, China, Taiwan, South Korea, any of the Asian countries. Their definition of a pretty girl has always been pale, skinny to the point of looking fragile because they considered that cute. A girl who was modest, who didn't show off too much, a girl who didn't wear strong perfumes but a natural fresh out of the shower scent was more attractive to the Asian males. Matter of fact, I've been told it's still that way in Japan. But why? Guys, Asian guys, give me an answer here. Why is it that you find pale, fragile-looking women so cute? Me? I would look at them like they were truly sickly, like they needed help. Being pale, if you're naturally pale, that is understandable. I am naturally pale. The only reason I have any color right now is because I've been suntanned all summer from walking around in sleeveless tops. What is so attractive about pale skin? Skin that is so pale is practically translucent. If that's your natural color, that's fine. But if this is a color you use makeup to create, then you're not using makeup for its real purpose. Makeup isn't to change the way you look. It's not to change your natural looks. It's to enhance what you already have. There are girls out there who wear some heavy makeup, starting with primer, and do all this stuff. It probably takes like 2 hours just to do, and get this heavy makeup on that doesn't even look natural. Not even close to natural. But for centuries, this is the view. A pale woman was considered beautiful. Europe, they used to wear white face powder that was lead lined and had poisonous substances in it just to make themselves look pale to fit society's rules. Matter of fact, in Europe, for centuries, if you were pale, blonde, and skinny, almost to the point, skinny enough to look fragile like a doll, that was beautiful to them. That was the perfect woman. Look at Hitler. His perfect army were all tall, blonde, well-cut males. I do mean blonde. Like, all of them were blonde. To him, that was the perfect race. Yet Hitler himself was dark-headed and short and dark. Tell me how that makes sense. That's the thing. For centuries, people have always thought blonde, pale men and women were sexy, where they were attractive. They were the perfect look. Matter of fact, for centuries, males have always gone for the blonde. For some reason, blonde seems to be the thing most males are attracted to. Although I've met several males who prefer brunettes. But still, there's a lot of them out there who like blondes. I mean, to me, how does a hair color really matter? My natural hair color, which, by the way, this is not the natural hair color. I recently dyed my hair black blue. But my natural hair color is a pale brown that is so pale it looks practically gold and red in the sunlight. That is my natural hair color. No, I'm not embarrassed about my hair color. No, I just don't like it. I don't like looking like I'm blonde. I don't like it. I prefer to wear my hair very dark, which is why I dye it black or black blue at least once every year. Usually around Halloween to fit my goth queen status, but this year I made the choice a little sooner and dyed it black blue about a month ago. And then I did a recent touch-up last week to put the color back in that had faded with time. Why is it the hair color really matters either? Like I said, I know many guys who like women who are brunettes. Matter of fact, some of them prefer brunettes. Some prefer redheads. That's their opinion. That's their optimism. Their view. Everybody has a type. Everybody has a certain symmetry that they are attracted to in the opposite gender or same gender in many cases. We all have something that we are naturally attracted to. I am naturally attracted to dark-headed males with basically my ideal man has always been tall and skinny. That's my type. But also through the years, my type has also augmented and changed. I mean, I've had blondes, I've had brunettes, I've had a redhead that I dated. So my ideal type really isn't specific now. When I was growing up, it was on. It was all about tall, dark, and handsome. Angel, my vampire from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I loved him above all others, and I found him very attractive because he was tall, dark, and handsome, which is an old cliche expression used for centuries. For centuries, women have found tall, dark, handsome men far more attractive than, say, blonder, fair-haired men. I mean, in Europe, yeah. Blonde men were considered to look like princes out of a fairy tale. And back in those times, fairy tales were what the women wanted. They wanted a fairy tale prince that was tall, blonde, and gorgeous. But sad thing is, just because they're tall, blonde, and gorgeous doesn't mean they're a good man. Some of them, my expression is, even the prettiest face can hide the darkest heart and the blackest soul. So it's not always just the stigma of blonde women. It's also been the stigma of blonde men. Like I said, these days, I'm attracted to mostly dark-haired males. Those who dye their hair blonde being an exception. Gact was very attractive in his blonde days, and he's blonde again now. Jae Jung was blonde during his first solo tour. I loved him as a white blonde because it made his charcoal eyes stand out. Yes, he has brown eyes, and in many pictures you'll see them just be a dark brown. But when he wore pale colors and he had his hair blonde, his eyes turned into a beautiful coal color. Not gray, not black, but simply something in between. Like, I guess how when coal burns and it turns to that gray ash. They were a slight bit darker than that. But those are beautiful. I thought they were the prettiest eyes ever. And I've not always been one for brown eyes. I used to like my men blue-eyed. Many of my exes are blue-eyed because I like blue eyes. But I also have an ex that's green-eyed. I have several brown-eyed exes. I have one ex of mine. He had hazel eyes that changed color with his mood or his clothes. I found them to be some of the prettiest eyes I'd ever seen. I call them chameleon eyes because it always changed to fit his surroundings, whether it was the clothes he wore or the mood he was in. I thought they were beautiful, and I still do, even if he himself has kind of disappeared. Who knows? But everybody's got a type of person they find attractive. Society's generic terms of beauty are fragile, skinny women, preferably blonde, who look like they could break in a fast wind. By society's ideals, that is the most attractive female ever to exist. By society's rules, the most attractive male ever to exist is one who is tall, generally blonde or dark-headed, with blue eyes, and either a really skinny body or one that is muscular and cut, with a six-pack and biceps. This is what society expects of women and men. Yet, look at me. I am a brunette, size 15, with 38D boobs and brown eyes. Eyes which, by the way, do change color when my mood changes. When I'm happy, they turn into an amber color. When I'm angry, they become literally demon black, pitch black. But that's only when I'm angry. But I've had brown eyes since pretty much birth. The blue-eyed at first notwithstanding. All babies are usually blue-eyed at birth, but as we get older, our natural permanent eye color sets in. I have been brown-eyed since that time. Sure, I've enjoyed the idea or played with the idea of getting hazel eyes, getting contacts that turn my eyes colors, purple eyes, blue eyes. I've been fascinated to see what I look like with these. Green eyes. Sure. I mean, Gact by himself, pretty much since the beginning of his career, he's always worn blue contacts. And you never really get much of a chance to see his natural brown eyes. Nowadays, he's starting to show them a little more, and I'm very happy for that. Because blue eyes are beautiful, but his brown eyes are too. Like I said, Jae Jung's eyes, that color and shift. They're brown, they just shift different shades. I thought his eyes, when they turn that coal color, are absolutely stunning. and they make him just even more beautiful than he already is. But that's the thing, though. It's not always the face. It's not always the body. It's not the hair color. It's not the eye color. It's not having big boobs. It's not having big penises. It's about what's inside a person that really, truly matters. Who you are on the inside can define you. What you are on the outside, you could be 1 in every 10. People that look pretty on the outside, you can get them a dime a dozen. They can be all sorts of beautiful on the outside, but on the inside, they can be heartless, cruel, snobby, rude. Being pretty isn't what's important, really. It's having a heart that's important. It's loving others, helping others that's important. Me, sure, I'm attracted physically to gorgeous men that are beautiful by all standards. But also, I can look past the physical and look for the heart. I mean, yeah, most of the beautiful men I'm fascinated with, I will never meet because they are celebrities. And they're halfway across the world from me. But I would like to think that even with just the beautiful bodies, the beautiful faces, the beautiful voices, the talent, the gifts, I would like to think that's important too. Hello, darling. I'm sorry, I cannot read, I believe that's Japanese. But I can read your English term. No, I would like to think that, oh, I'm sorry. I had somebody that just kind of popped on my screen to say hi on my chat screen. They wrote in Japanese, though. English for hello, though. But like I said, it's not always the physical that matters. It's the heart that matters. The soul that matters. The way you treat others. That's what matters. It's not being perfect to society's rules. It's not following all of society's definitions of true beauty. Because in all honesty, all the makeup, all the plastic surgery is all false beauty. It's not true beauty. It's a beauty you create with false things, with plastic. That's not true beauty. True beauty is what you have inside of you. It's how you treat others. It's how you interpret things that you see. It's how you love others. It's not being skinny. It's not being famous. It's not being rich. It's being kind that makes real beauty. And I've always seen that. You know, I myself, I mean, some of the exes I've dated were not the most attractive of males, at least not on the outside. But on the inside, they had good hearts. And I saw a part of that. As I dated them, I saw more and more of their kind hearts. Although some of them were just as unattractive on the inside as they were the out. Those are lessons learned for me. Being pretty doesn't mean they're kind. Being ugly doesn't mean they're mean. Sometimes a person can be both ugly on the inside and the out. Others can be beautiful on the out and beautiful on the in. I would like to think that all those who write such beautiful songs or sing such beautiful songs have beautiful hearts to go with the music they write. or they create. As I know, many musicians do write their own music. You can't always expect a person to live up to society's rules or live up to what you expect of them because they follow their own path. Don't expect someone to have with a pretty face to have a good heart. Many people that have pretty faces turn into royal monsters eventually. Some of it because they're conceited. You don't always believe what you see. The expression goes, don't believe what you see and only half of what you hear. You can hear rumors. You can hear stories. You can hear people fuss over these famous people and say, oh, they're perfect, they're wonderful, these guys are not human. Sad to say, my darlings, celebrities are just as human as we are. As you've seen, celebrities can live a pretty rough life too. The Kim Hyun-joon story with his ex, the stories about Gak Kamai and his daughter, and other stuff that I can't really remember right now. You know, nobody's perfect. We're all flawed. We're all human. Don't expect a celebrity to... Don't put celebrities on a pedestal and basically think of them as gods. They're not. They're just as breakable as we are. In some cases, their pretty faces do hide pretty hearts, and those hearts can get just as hurt or broke as ours. And then there are other ones whose beautiful face hides a snobby, rude heart. Someone who doesn't care about anybody but themselves. Someone who's conceited or vain. Here's an idea. Vanity and conceit are not the best way to go in life. A lot of the women and men who change their bodies or hurt themselves to force themselves to fit into society's rules, a lot of it's mainly vanity. Because vanity is, according to Christian religion, vanity is one of the 7 deadly sins. Vanity, but to me, vanity is merely being human. Some people are vain about their hair. Some people are vain about their teeth. Some are vain about their bodies. People can be conceited. They have nice bodies. They have pretty faces, and they're conceited about it. They say, I'm better looking than you. I'm better than you, so don't talk to me. You don't fit in with me. There are people like that. Being vain or conceited is never going to get you anywhere, darling. All it's going to do is end up hurting you and those around you. Stop worrying about your size. Stop worrying about your hair color, your eye color, whether or not your breasts are good enough, whether or not your penis is well-sized. Stop worrying about all that. And start worrying about the fact that... Start thinking about becoming a better person. And accepting the person that you are. Accept the natural person that you are. I mean, yeah, everybody's got something about them they don't like. That's purely natural. Like I said, I don't like my hair color. And for years, I had low self-esteem and body image issues. I hated being big. I hated having my stomach poke out like I was 9 months pregnant because people made fun of me for it. They said I was ugly, called me a dog. I have someone ask me about philosophers. Now, that was a question I did not expect. I apologize, my beautiful ones, but I'm getting questions from someone. Again, my beautiful ones, everybody's going to hate something they hate about themselves. Everybody's going to have something they dislike. But the question is, what do you do with that? Do you change to make yourself into what you want to be? Do you change to make yourself into something someone else wants you to be? Or are you willing to accept yourself for who you are? If you have a little bit of weight on you, okay, fine. You're perfectly beautiful that way. If you have a lot of weight on you, you're beautiful anyway. But it's up to you. If you want to lose all that weight because you find it unattractive because you hate yourself, that is your choice. I highly encourage it. Make yourself into the you want, not to what society wants, not to what a boy wants. Make yourself into something you're comfortable with, something you appreciate. You know, don't let anyone ever dictate to you what you should like about yourself and what you shouldn't. You know, I have many ways of looking. I have many things about myself that I like and dislike. I have many things about myself that I have accepted and moved on. I have things that I have not accepted, and I'm still reaching far enough to get over them. Because the past can only tie you down. Don't let the past stop you. Don't let the world view stop you. Don't let society's rules change you. Be who you are. Love who you are. Don't change unless it's for you. I think you're beautiful no matter what you look like, how much weight you got on you, or what your chest size is, or other things. I don't care. Who you are is beautiful to me. You know, you've got people out there who are so very different in so many different ways. Every single one of them is beautiful. Every single one of them is beautiful. There's always something about each person that is beautiful. And sometimes it takes them time to find that. Sometimes they never do find what makes them beautiful. Or sometimes it takes someone else telling them what is beautiful about them to make them believe that they are beautiful. I've been told I have a nice body. I have a beautiful smile. Let's see. I've been told that I am very soothing when I need to be. I have been told many things about me that others see as beautiful. Like I said, I myself haven't discovered something about me that I find beautiful, but others have found something that they find beautiful about me. I'm still working on it. About the only thing I can say that I've made that's beautiful is poetry. My poetry is very beautiful in many ways, and sometimes very emotional and very passionate. It is one of my greatest passions because I am a poet by heart. I have been writing poetry and stories since I was in the second grade. Even in second grade, I won a Young Authors Award because I've been writing that long. I've never been able to produce a book because every subject has been taken. I've only found maybe one or two subjects that have yet to be taken. I started a book. Unfortunately, I was never able to finish it because it just became I just lost time for it. And then the story began to turn cheesy and kind of silly, and I'm like, I don't want to write this. It sounds too corny. So instead, I stick to writing expressions and poetry, creating collages, writing about world issues, writing about what makes me happy, what makes me sad. One of the best poems I've ever written is called White Silence. I wrote this in January. I think it was January of 13. I'm not quite sure when I wrote it. I do know I was in Lewis and Clark at the time. That story was about my soulmate, about me looking for them, about me hearing them, singing to me. This was when my obsession and this is when I started finding out about Kim Jae-jung and Gat Kamai. When my desire to learn more about Asian pop culture became an obsession, I guess you would say. I wrote that poem with Gat Kamai in mind. Because I've always wondered who my soulmate was, whether it was somebody I knew or someone I've never met. I always thought of Kim Jae-jung and Gat Kamai as being a possibility because of the fact that their music touches me and that I hear it to my soul. But that's all for tonight, my boys, my beautiful ones, my queens, my kings, my princes, whoever you see yourself as. I love you all. And remember, you are beautiful no matter what. There's something about you that is truly beautiful. Looks don't matter. It's the heart that is the real thing. Don't ever change yourself because someone else told you to or because society told you to. Don't torture yourself to make you into something someone else wants. If you want to lose weight, good. Lose it. Be the you that you want to be. But don't toss your food cookies up all the time. Don't starve yourself. Just stay on a healthy diet and eat right. Take out a lot of the unhealthy stuff that will harm you. Work out, exercise. You don't have to be major exercising. 20 minutes a day, 3 days a week. Walk. Run. If you want to run on a treadmill, go ahead. Males, you work out in gyms. Go work out for however long you choose to work out. If you're not happy about yourself, change what you don't like into what you do like. But only if it's what you want, not if it's what someone else wants. Like I've always said, doesn't matter what you look like to me. What matters is that I love you anyway. And I find you beautiful no matter what. And eventually other people will see that too. You see, one of the most beautiful things about a person, one things in all this world that can make a person truly beautiful. Confidence. Confidence, kindness. These are two things that can make a person truly shine. I used to not be confident about myself, low self-esteem, the whole issue, the whole bargain. But I noticed when I was in the Navy, I started getting more confidence. I started being more positive about my image. And the guys, I would walk into the bar and half the males that were within my vicinity would turn to look at me. It wasn't because I was the sexiest thing in the room. It wasn't because I was showing off bits and pieces of everything. It wasn't because I was the most beautiful creature in existence. Excuse me. is because I walked in that room with a confidence in myself that, you know what? I don't care what anybody thinks. If you find me pretty, come on. That's up to you. I showed them confidence. And 9 times out of 10, most males or females will find confidence more beautiful than anything besides kindness. Confidence, kindness. Those make you beautiful. Be confident in yourself. Be happy with yourself. Make your own choices. Don't ever let anyone tell you what to do or who to be or what to look like. Do what makes you happy. That's it for tonight, my babies. Have a good evening, my beautiful ones, and I will talk to you another time.